Hi there guys, welcome to another issue of Retro Gamer where we look at the latest issue. I'm Darran Jones, the editor.
And I'm John Wells, the art editor.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we'll quickly go through the issue, but we want to show you the front cover. Now, what's the reason for putting lots of different characters on the cover? It's obviously predominantly Chucky Egg.
Yeah, but there's a lot of games. It's a top 25 feature. There's a lot of different games in there, so different sprites. It was quite convenient that all the colours were quite similar as well. So actually,
yeah, I think
together, so.
I think the BBC only has like four colours on the that it can display at one time. So yeah, it helps everything look nice and consistent. One thing we'll quickly mention is that Dizzy. There's a new Dizzy game. Well, actually, it's an old Dizzy game, but the Oliver twins forgot they made it, and it's been sitting in a loft for about 20 odd years. So we managed to speak to him about that. It's pretty cool. We'll go to the main feature, which, as you know, is the all-time greatest BBC games. Now, I didn't have a BBC growing up, simply because they were massively expensive and couldn't afford it. Used to use them all the time at school, though, and this was a good opportunity to basically just look at all the games I used to play when I was a kid.
Yeah, we got some quite good content as well. We managed to get like a small making of a Snapper, an interview with Jonathan Griffiths, and a few other interviews in there, so it kind of...
Yeah, Nigel Alderton, he didn't make the BBC version of Chucky Egg, but Chucky Egg is like, even though it started off life as a Spectrum game, everybody looks at it as a BBC game. And then we've obviously got David Braben talking about Elite. And yeah, it's always cool when you can do the reader surveys and just bump them up with a bit of cool developer content as well.
Yeah.
So moving on, we've got the making of Get Dexter, which was a classic Amstrad isometric game, really good graphics for the time. And it's apparently being remade, ready for next year. Now, this one I'm not massively familiar with, but it's on Rare Replay, and it's called Diggity Rock, and it's one of the many games that Rare made when they were working on the NES. I think they churned out around 50-odd games. It's kind of like, it's a bit Boulder Dashy, but it's not exactly the same. And tell us a little bit about this one, because this is one of the problems John always has, is that if we cover something that we've looked at in the past, how do you go about making it sufficiently different from a design point of view? And this one was causing you a bit of trouble, wasn't it?
It's a very simple looking game. Like I say, we've covered it before, so it took a while to get an idea behind this one. But I think was it you and Darran? You actually?
Oh, I mentioned I mentioned like a Bayeux tapestry thing, didn't I?
Yeah. So we
and then you kind of filled in the rest.
It around that. So yeah, just went on that, and yeah, it's turned out all right actually. Quite happy with it.
Moving on, we've got Gunstar Heroes, one of the best run and gun games around. It was a calling card for Treasure, and it basically did things that the Mega Drive wasn't supposed to be capable of doing. You've got like all these mental sprite explosions, rotation, transparency effects. It's just like, it's an amazing game, and it's effectively, well, as you found out, it's a big boss rush because you had to design loads of them, didn't you?
I think it was 25 in the end, so yeah, it's quite a few in there.
We've got an interview with the guys at M2 who basically translated it to the 3DS recently, and we've also spoken to Max Sinoir, who was basically the guy in America who basically said, yeah, we'll make this game, because believe it or not, nobody in the West wanted to buy it because they all said the sprites are too small, and which seems silly now, but that was it. So tell us a little bit about this one, because I'm assuming you got some inspiration for it.
I think I remember the SNES being one of the first consoles I had when I was younger. Well, actually, I lie. It's my cousin had it, and I basically stole it off him, and along with all his games. So yeah, and I just remember certain styles of the box, and just wanted to go with that. And it's, again, with the hardware features, taking a lot of inspiration from the box art and stuff. And we obviously got one, so we can we photo shoot ourselves. But yeah,
I like all the different consoles as well. So that's a brick I've got. That's your. Is that your one?
Well, yeah.
And that's the one my cousin picked up. Although apparently it doesn't come with RGB, so you have to mod it. But otherwise, the output's supposed to be amazing. So we had a look at obviously the console wars, because there was a big deal during the 16-bit where you had Mario versus Sonic. You had games like Mortal Kombat didn't have blood because Nintendo was censoring everything. So Sega were using that as an opportunity to basically get the upper hand.
Yeah.
This is something that Nick's been sitting on for ages. It's a cool Sega shoot 'em up called Gunblade New York. And basically the team went out to America, went to New York, took loads and loads of photos, spent loads of money. And it's a pretty cool helicopter shooter, which it's really hard to emulate apart from like PC, but your best bet is to pick it up on the Wii because it got released with LA Machine Guns. Yeah, we weren't too sure on this one, were we?
No.
This is another example where you don't necessarily have assets because it's a 20-year-old company of that. So John had the good idea of styling it around one of the more popular games, which was Strip Poker. We were thinking of adding things like lingerie in that, weren't we? But
it was an idea.
we decided it was a bit too far.
Might push it a bit.
And nobody wants to see my underpants. So this is an interesting one because it came out on a fair few systems, but it is a rock hard arcade game because it's one of those games where arcade games really they were all designed about taking money from you as quickly as possible, right. And some of them were fairly easy, but this one is like it's rock hard and it's like got really unpredictable enemies and it's just like a coin sink. This worked out well as well, didn't it? Command and Conquer, massively popular. It wasn't the first RTS game, but it arguably defined the genre with Westfield basically building on what they did with, I think it was Dune 2.
Yeah.
And because that came out on the Amiga as well, didn't it? As well as the PC.
I think so, yeah.
And but yeah, so we've managed to speak to one of the guys who was the co-owner of Westwood, Lewis Castle. And yeah, I mean, if you like this series, there's lots of cool stuff to learn about it. And then finally, the last big article is with Charles Sassel of Broken Sword fame. So we were hoping to get him down, weren't we? But unfortunately, things didn't work out. But we still got a really cool interview. And Revolution Studios is now 25 years old. So he talks about how the company started up. He talks about things like Broken Sword, which is obviously one of the most popular franchises they've done. And yeah, it's a cool little piece. And that's your lot. So looking at the next month page, we've got Saboteur. We've been trying to get a Saboteur interview for absolutely ages, and we finally managed to get a new interview with Mike Richardson, so that would be cool. We've got to look at the Games series, which was a really popular series by Apex. We've got Half-Life, because it pretty much, when it came out, it pretty much defined the first-person genre, so we're speaking to various developers about that. And I guess the main thing is we're doing a Star Wars cover, aren't we?
We're just out in time for the new film, so...
So look out for that. That'll be on sale from the 27th of November. I'm Darran Jones.
I'm Jonathan Wells.
And we will see you very soon, guys. Take care.